So in this exercise, we are going to copy an image from one of my favorite artists, Simon Stalenhag. And to start with something, we need to, draw the basic concept of the image, which is kind of simple since it's a symmetrical image, and we have this rectangular house in the center. So my advice here is to find the center of the image, find the horizon, and then try to define, the basic shape of the rectangle in the center, and then everything will be a lot easier to manage and to draw after that. So you can draw the small box on the right. You can start drawing the silhouette of the trees on the back. You can start drawing there's like three different rectangles in the same rectangle in the center. You can start drawing the windows in the middle. And in this moment, in this part of the process, everything should be easy to do. If you make a mistake, you can like fix it very easily. If you feel like you have bad proportions between areas or objects, those are just lines, so you can draw them in different layers, or anyway select them after you draw them with the rectangular marquee tool, and then scale them up. Anyway, feel free to get to the point, get to the final result in the way you feel more comfortable. And I mean, this is not about details, this is about understanding the shapes and the right volumes for each element. Okay. And everything start from here. And then since Simon Salenhag used different kind of brushes, the next part will be about understanding which brushes we need to use, we need to create, and then we are going to start painting. So now that we have the first sketch, and it's kind of simple to get to this point, we can start by creating different brushes. And this is the smart choice for this kind of painting, because you see you have like the clouds, which are done with like a special brush that looks like this. You see like parallel line that follow the direction of the brush, and you can see it's everywhere. Okay, so this is one brush we can create. Okay, so let's do this. Okay, first one, and then we have a brush with, you see, vertical lines. And as you can see here, the same brush is also horizontal, and that means that is following the direction of the the brush stroke. So this is the second brush. Okay, this is like 3 lines brush. Okay, this is the second one. And then we have I mean, this looks like a very like a dead tree, without leaves. So we have this third brush, and then we can make a brush for the pavement, the tiles. It's a smart choice because I don't want to spend my time, painting this manually. And we have like, I don't know, this stuff could be made with the second brush. I mean, we can have a brush like this with like I don't know, like this stuff here on the top. So we can have brush number 5 with like, I don't know, could be anything, could be like flowers or just leaves. And then we can create a brush for the textures. See these dots here? So brush number 6. And we can have a brush with this kind of leaks, and dirt for this areas and this areas. It's okay. It's a good thing. Maybe a couple of them. One with long leaks and one with this kind of dirt spot. So we have like number 7 and number 8. And I would say that this is enough. So now we are going to create this single brushes, and then we're going to start the painting using them. And hypothetically, is going to be better. It's going to be easier and faster. So let's start with the first brush. Make a new canvas. 1000, 1000 is fine. White background. You can even choose from here. Create. Make a new layer. Black color. Maybe if you don't want to click in here, you can also click D to get back to black and white, and X to swap between foreground and background colors. So in any moment you can press D and then swap them with X. Anyway, black is what we are looking for, and here we can just paint a few dots like this. Okay, this is what you can do. And then edit, define brush preset, press OK. And then we can open the brush settings. And of course, we want to go directly to shape dynamics, angle jitter, no angle jitter, control, direction. And in the brush tip shape, we rotate the brush tip like this, minus 90 degree. And as you can see now, if you create a new layer, it will follow the direction. See? And of course, we can make a couple of versions of this. If this is too, thin, we can make another one with like bigger circles at the beginning, and we can reduce the spacing, and it will look. See, if we have the fact that we can see the dots is a problem that you can solve with the spacing. Okay. And if you cannot solve it with the spacing, it's because the last dot, this one, travels more than the one in the center. So a good idea could be to, I will save this one anyway. So save. Okay. And then I will make a new one. But this time I will make, like bigger, areas and, less of them. Let me try. I did define brush preset. Okay. Again, shape dynamic, control, direction, and the brush tip shape should be like this. I'll go down a little bit with the size. I turn on, opacity on pressure. See, and it works. It works a lot better. So, you can make a couple of them. Okay, so this is the first brush we need. The second brush is the one with the 3 lines. Okay, so again, this is not that far away from what we need. Okay, maybe they are like thinner. These 3 dots should be thinner. So I will go for something like this. You can even, squeeze them a little bit like this. Edit, define brush preset. Okay, cool. And now, again, shape dynamics, you want to go, you can even go with their initial direction, so they will like always follow the starting direction. And of course, the brush tip shape should be rotated, as you can see here. And the thing is, is following the pen pressure, so maybe we need pen pressure off. Yeah, but we need the opacity and pressure. Or maybe we can use pen pressure, but we can keep the minimum diameter to like to 50%, so they will not join in a single line when you release the pen. See? This is cool. We can even think about eating a little bit of this brush, with the second brush, you see. But this is up to you. I mean, maybe you want to make like you want to add something like a texture, you don't want this to be that precise. It's up to you, okay? It's up to you. Is working, you see, even if we do it like horizontal, it follows the direction. And so this is exactly what we want. So this is the second brush. Of course, you can rename it properly. The third brush is the one that looks like the tree. So this is a little bit more complicated since we need to actually, draw the tree, or you can even look for something on internet and just paste it here. So if you want to go manually, of course, you need to, draw the tree, like first main branch and then secondary branches. And then you need to, do something like this. I mean, it's complicated, okay? So I'm going to look for a photo on internet and use it as brush. So here we go. I found this picture online, and even if there's like a watermark on top, I don't really care because I need to transform this into a brush. So I'm going to put a curve here. And I'm going to contrast that a little bit, like, I don't know, like this, you see, and the watermark is gone. So I can even select the only part I want, like this, and then mask it. So the word there is gone now, and this will be my brush preset. Okay, cool. And now I can use this. And of course, I mean, a good thing to do is to have a couple of them, maybe more, so you don't have the same every time. One thing you can do is to, of course, go 100% opacity and then go in the brush, and then in shape dynamic, click on flip X jitter. So, one time will be like this, and the other, sometimes it will basically be, flipped in the other way. Okay, this is only one brush. You can have some size jitter, so every time you paint is literally slightly different in size. And if you want a little bit of angle jitter, but just a little bit, okay, don't increase this too much, or you will have literally like bending trees, and it's not the right way, okay? And of course you can have color dynamics if you want to, paint mixing, the color between the background and the foreground one. This is something you can choose even after if you need it, okay? So this is the new brush for the tree. Then number 4, we need a photo of tiles. So for example, with this photo, what we can do is to go for a black and white modifier adjustment, and then for the curves, we contrast until we get something which is black and white, like this. And if you want, you can crop this top part, or you can even go at the bottom here on top of the photo and paint this whole area with a black value. Because anyway, we care about this part here, okay? And now that we have this, we go on top, Ctrl-Alt-Shift-E, make one layer, edit, the fine brush preset. Okay, this is very big. Okay, this is very big, and actually this area should be white from what I see here. So we can, go back in here, invert this, and also paint a little bit of white here on the corners. Okay, cool. If you have this problem here, so the brush get to the end of the canvas, you will see the cut when you're going to use it. So if you don't want that, you can just paint a little bit on the border, okay, with a smaller brush, like this, and you will not get the problem anymore. Okay. So again, Ctrl+Shift+E, image, edit, define brush preset. And that's it. See? We get what we want. See? So this is it. And then we need number 5, those small plants. So we can just pick standard brush, new layer, and we can try to paint, oops, sorry, so big. Something like that. And this will be one brush. And of course you can have like a little bit of side jitter, flip X jitter. You can have a little bit of scattering, you see. For the plaster, which is the brush number 6, we can use something like this. I will put again black and white, and again curves, since I want to have such a very dark black and white, kind of result. See? We can keep like just one spot of this, so I can double click in here to unlock the photo layer and then put a white layer at the bottom, Shift F5, white. And so I can just, put a mask on the photo, invert the mask, Ctrl+I, and in this way the photo will be gone. But then I can use just a brush like this to reveal the photo again in the center. So this is the area I'm going to use for the brush, actually, okay? See? This is my brush. And I can, just make one layer out of it. And if this is too much, if this is too sharp, I want something like a cartoon style, I can try to, make a copy, filter, blur, Gaussian blur. So I can try to, make a Gaussian blur with this. And then again, another curve on top to contrast. And this should, kind of make this, the effect more kind of cartoonish, less detailed. It's up to you. You can run a few tests, maybe like, like this is too much. Oh, this was okay. So this could be, the brush. So edit, again, define brush preset is not there because I have a curve. So again, Ctrl+Shift+E to get one layer only, define brush preset. And this is it. And of course, we need a little bit of size jitter, a little bit of lots of angle jitter because we want this to be rotated, randomly. Flip Y jitter, flip X jitter, yes. I would say no roundness jitter. We don't want to squeeze this. Maybe we want to keep each of this a little bit more like far away, see? And so when we are going to paint again, we can, you know, see, get something like that. Or we can have scattering if you want, both axes, more counts. I don't like that. We will like do this like with the pen, of course, so we can decide so the thickness of it. So this is definitely better if we use the pen instead of the mouse. Okay, so I will save this as a new brush, and now we need brush number 7 and number 8. So for the brush number 7, we can use a photo of like water leaks, or we can use the rectangular brush we did at the beginning. And in a new layer, I would do something like, you know, like this. Not even like that, like perfect, you know, like change the size of this. Okay. And then with the smudge tool, I like to try to smudge the stuff a little bit. I don't want to see the stroke, basically. If it takes too much to do this smudge tool, it's because your canvas is too big, and probably you don't need that. So, you know, just try to make these brushes with, you know, quite small canvas, like, I don't know, 1K. That's enough. The key word here is to, you know, randomize what you're doing. This stuff is never perfect. You know, it's like water dripping down on surfaces. So it's okay if, you know, everything is like chaotic. I mean, it should be vertical, since you have gravity pushing down the water. So you have big areas, big chunks, you know, with color, and then small details only somewhere. Okay, so this is another fine brush preset. Okay, cool. And I would say we don't need to do a lot of stuff. And with this one, it's like a stamp tool, you know, we stamp it. Maybe the next time we use it, we rotate it, you know, just to make it like, looks like it's different. And then for the last one, we can find some photo of dirt and, you know, do the same process we have done in the plaster. So in this case, I open again the concrete leaking photo, texture, and then black and white as usual, curves, just to, you know, contrast as a first pass. And then you make one layer only with Ctrl+Alt+Shift+E. You blur it with the filter blur, Gaussian blur, and then with another curve you contrast again, and you get this. This is a result. Of course, if you change the curves, the result will change. If you change the blur amount, result will change. So you can have a few tests to find the kind of texture you like. When you're done, you make a new layer on top, Ctrl+Shift+E again, and then the brush, the fine brush preset, and that's it. Okay. And again, we are going to use this like a little bit like this, a little bit like this, a little bit like, you know, rotating in different ways, maybe using different portions of it. Now that we have all the brushes we need, we can start painting. Okay, now I believe we have two different paths to succeed in this exercise. The first one is the easy one, but it takes longer. And, you know, is to do exactly what we did in the previous video, like painting values. So as you can see, I don't know, we start from the sky, and then we start, we go to the very background with this object very far away, and then we, paint those details, those values, and then we go close to the camera. And it's a good idea to keep each type of object, each type of layer on a separate layer here in Photoshop. So it's going to be easier at the end to assign different color on those areas. Or you can just, paint with colors, okay? So we can just hide this, and, you paint on the first layer, the sky. And, exercise is a little bit more difficult, because you need to not just get the value of the sky, but also the color, the right hue, I would say, and the saturation. But of course, it's a little bit kind of quicker if you get the right value, the right hue, the right saturation, since you don't have to think about colors in a second moment. Okay, so it's up to you. You can paint with values and then color at the end, or painting with colors from the beginning. It's up to you. The only thing I suggest you to do is to use different layers. So for example, you have a new layer here, and you just think about the sky. And when you need to go and paint these trees like far away, another layer. Okay, so if you feel better, you can even take notes. Say, okay, one layer for the sky, one layer for the background here, one layer for the trees here, one layer for the high vegetation, which is like purple, another layer with this kind of the saturated yellow paint, plants, and one layer for the pavement, and so on. And it's going to be easier, since if you made a mistake, you can just delete that layer or fix that layer, and go on with the work. Personally, I would say I would go with colors if it was mine. It was just my work, because I have the palette of colors I have to follow. So I believe that in this case I will go darkly with colors. But if you go with black and white, it doesn't really change. You don't have to think about the hue and the saturation. You can just think about the the brightness of the area you're painting, so you can keep this on. And at the end, on a color layer, you can just paint the colors. So it's up to you which way you want to go. I will go with colors, and I will start with the sky. So before leaving you with the speed up version of my painting, I want to share with you the main idea about the process. The main idea is this: you find the right starting color, okay? And you paint with the color the area you want to work with. And then using the brush we created together, you paint on that area with a slightly darker or brighter value. And that's all. And if you do that for each single area, for each single element, with each single brush, little by little, you will get to the ending with the final result. And don't be afraid of making mistakes. You can, paint over a mistake. You can, do very first, kind of layer of color, and you can just don't care too much about actually what you are painting. So like in this case, you have a flat color as a background, and then you start painting like vertical lines with a little bit of flowers on top with a flat color. And you keep doing that for each color you perceive, every color you think is right to have. And for example, for the building, I paint the starting color, and then I use other brushes to add slightly different values of dirt. And you can do this on different layers, And this is everything you have to do. And then if you want, you go on a new layer and you paint small details with a small brush if there's like lines to paint or stuff like that. If you, need to be, more comfortable with the process, just try to focus on one single thing. I don't know, like the top rectangle of the house, okay, the blue one, and deal with that until it's finished, and then move on to the next object, to the next part of the painting, okay. And it's just a matter of working with the right brush, finding the right starting color, and then adding details with a slightly brighter or darker or more saturated or less saturated brush on top, okay. So if you keep doing that, you will get the final result in a really easy way, okay. That's it. You can now watch the speed up version of my painting process, and remember that you're free to work with many different layers, so you can correct any mistake, paint over if you want to paint over, or use like the base shape in a layer as a mask for something else. As you can see, for example, on the right, you can see my layer list, and I have the rectangle I paint for the house, and then on top some linked layers for all the details and so on. So I will keep for last the inside of the house. If you have problem copying, from one canvas to the other, from one image to the other, remember you can duplicate the window, and so you can zoom in and check a lot better what's happening, because you can have like a magnify lens on the area you want to paint, and that's the idea, okay. So now it's up to you. It's your turn. Start with the sky, since it's the right way to do, and get close to the camera when while you're proceeding with the painting.